Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our community press conference. My name is Nicole Eichbrent. I'm the Director of Community Organizing at CAAS, the Community Action Agency of Somerville. This is a bilingual press conference, so I will be emceeing in English, and then my colleague Magda will be interpreting and emceeing in Spanish. So she's going to announce this in Spanish as well.
Hola, buen día a todos. Gracias por estar aquí. Yo soy Magda, soy organizer de CAAS y voy a estar haciendo la interpretación en español de todo lo que vamos a hablar hoy. Muchas gracias.
Okay, so again, my name is Nicole, and we are community organizers at CAAS, and we are honored to be here for this once-in-a-generation event, the opening of a new MBTA station, and we thank the residents and leaders who fought for decades to make this possible. The original vision for the Green Line Extension was to serve oppressed and marginalized communities around Boston, working class and low-income residents, immigrants, people of color, people with disabilities, and the elderly, people who didn't have access to clean air or public transit for decades. But these are the exact residents are the ones who are being displaced first in our city, because Somerville has now become a gold mine for investors. Yep. Gentrification isn't really happening in Somerville by big corporations. It's been by an army of smaller, predatory investors, developers, and greed-driven landlords who are reaping the profits and evicting the very people this train extension was supposedly built for. And the MBTA itself admitted this last spring in an equity analysis. Yep. These out-of-town developers and investors are often hiding behind LLCs or in social media bragging about their deals. They seem oblivious to the hardships they're imposing on tenants like Vanessa and Candice, who are here today. And we want people to know who they are. Their actions may not intend to cause harm, but it's destroying our neighborhoods. And they're part of a larger capitalist housing system that's failing our most vulnerable residents. And this has reached a crisis point. How many more families, immigrants, and elders need to lose their homes before there to be action? We should be able to advocate for transit and environmental justice and know it will be for equity in our community. But we're rewarding the investors and developers and not enough the local people and businesses that Green Line Extension was meant to serve.
That's right.
Transit justice must be housing justice as well as environmental justice and racial justice. So today at our Somerville Community Press Conference, you'll hear the stories of our neighbors who are bravely resisting displacement and gentrification. We hope you'll listen and understand what's at stake. They deserve to live in Somerville as much as anyone else. And we want to thank everyone who is here in solidarity, in person and online, our elected officials, and our co-sponsoring partners of this press conference, including Union United, Somerville Stands Together, City Life Vida Urbana, the Boston Liberation Center, and then Union Square Neighborhood Council. And then after Magda shares these remarks, we will then welcome first Vanessa of 109 Walnut Street to share her story.
Hola a todos, nuevamente soy Magda, como ya dije, organizadora comunitaria de CAAS, y quiero decir que estamos muy felices de estar aquí hoy con ustedes en esta apertura de las nuevas estaciones de la línea verde, que es algo que pasa una sola vez en la vida. Estamos muy orgullosos de las generaciones de líderes y de residentes que lucharon para que esto fuera posible. Sin embargo, queremos decir que el plan original de la construcción de esta línea era que sirviera justamente a las poblaciones más oprimidas, más marginalizadas, que no tenían acceso al transporte público y que vivían en lugares con aire muy contaminados. Y sin embargo, estas son las mismas poblaciones que van a quedar fuera de este tren, porque Somerville es una mina de oro para los inversionistas, lamentablemente. La gentrificación o el proceso por el cual un barrio se transforma al nivel que los vecinos se ven obligados a salir es un proceso que está siendo llevado a cabo no por grandes inversionistas como podríamos pensar, todo lo contrario, son pequeños inversionistas y desarrolladores y landlords que se ven tentados por la codicia y abandonan a sus tenants de esa forma. Ellos se esconden detrás de LLCs y de sus redes sociales y se vanaglorian de los negocios que hacen y no tienen idea del daño que le están haciendo a nuestros barrios. Quizás no lo hacen con la intención de hacer daño, pero están destruyendo nuestros barrios. y son parte de una fuerza más grande, que es el capitalismo, que está destruyendo nuestros barrios, y nuestros vecinos se merecen algo mucho mejor. No se está haciendo lo suficiente y sabemos que ha habido gran trabajo detrás de esto, pero no es suficiente, no es suficiente. Estamos premiando a los inversionistas, a los desarrolladores y dejando de lado a nuestros vecinos que se tienen que ir de la ciudad. Queremos hacer un pedido fuerte y claro de que necesitamos justicia de transporte, pero esto no puede venir si no es de la mano con justicia habitacional, justicia medioambiental y racial. Ahora vamos a escuchar a nuestros vecinos que han estado fuertemente resistiendo a esta fuerza tan grande, y ellos merecen tanto como cualquier persona vivir en Somerville. Muchas gracias a todos por venir, gracias a quienes nos acompañan en persona, a quienes están a través de nuestra transmisión de Facebook. Queremos también saludar a nuestros coanfitriones de Union United, Somerville Stand Together, City Life Vida Urbana, the Boston Liberation Center and the Union Square Neighborhood Council. Ahora se lo voy a pasar a Vanessa para que nos dé unas palabras. Gracias.
Buenos días, gente de Somerville and people from Massachusetts and Somerville. My name is Vanessa Vela, and I am a resident from Somerville for the past 17 years. My son only knows Somerville as his home. My son only knows Somerville public system for school. When these investors came to my house, our dreams came down to when these investors came to my house, our dreams came down to All Avenue, because that's what we've been living since they came to our house to tell us that we have to move out. My mom has been contributing to the economy of Massachusetts for over 30 years, but that's not enough for them. They find us unworthy of living in Somerville because it has become a city for wealthy people. That's all they want. They don't want a kid that has a bright future, a kid that's an honor student, a kid that can be the future of this country. You don't know if my son can be the next person who can save your life, but they don't want to see that. They just want to see profit. They just want to see money, because that's what's in their mind, and that's a chase that will never stop. My mother and I are immigrants from El Salvador, and immigrants are pride people who are afraid to fight, who are afraid of the people with money, of the injustices that has been going on, not just in Somerville, but in the whole country. That's right. The injustices that have bring us to depression, that have bring us to mental illness, that have bring us to just not fight, to just give up. Most people are suffering, most people have been suffering. A lot of people nowadays are suffering from mental illness and are suffering from addictions. And it's all due from the oppression of the wealthy. They don't want to see us. They just want to give up. That's why we see so much homeless in the streets. This keep happening and nobody's doing anything. Nobody's fighting because it's too shameful to fight. I'm not afraid here to fight for my son, to fight for my mother, and to fight for my people, my immigrant people who have been taking so much. And I'm here to say that enough is enough. And I'm here to fight those big people that are trying to intimidate us with their money, who are trying to intimidate us with the social media, who are trying to intimidate us by coming in their fancy cars to our neighborhoods and trying to convert everything into just luxurious apartments, to raise our rents 2-3 times, something that they know the working class can afford, because they don't want working class in Somerville, and that's the working class who have built Somerville all these years. I am very grateful that a woman is stepping up in Somerville. She wrote a letter to my landlord to my new landlord, and I hope that he listens. I hope that he sits down to talk. I have given him many chances to sit down and talk, and he's still resistant. He's still ignoring me. He still sees me as nothing, because that's what these investors do. See us as we are nothing, and we are bigger than he thinks. Because united we can fight, united we can win, and united we can bring justice. Voy a hacer la traducción en español para la gente latina. Mi nombre es Vanessa. Gracias por estar hoy aquí en Somerville, y a la gente de Massachusetts, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros, apoyándonos en esta lucha contra la injusticia. No rent hikes. Dice, no nos suban las rentas tanto. Los inversionistas que han llegado a Somerville se están aprovechando de todas las oportunidades que Somerville tiene. Es como una mina de dinero y está afectando a la gente pobre, a la gente trabajadora, a la gente que ha luchado por construir esta ciudad. Gracias a la gente trabajadora, todas las compañías tienen los millones que han creado, y ahora nos vienen a querer sacar. Hemos aguantado construcción, hemos aguantado ruidos, hemos aguantado que cierren las calles donde nuestros hijos juegan, para que solamente vengan a sacarnos en un segundo o a subirnos las rentas. De esa manera es que se quieren liberar de la gente de bajos recursos. Yo soy una no víctima, porque me rehuso a ser una víctima. Soy un target de estos manipuladores que se han enriquecido con las oportunidades que Somerville les está brindando. Espero que con la nueva gobernadora que viene al poder, esto pare. Espero que estas rentas tengan límites, que los inversionistas ya no vean Somerville como una ciudad para enriquecerse, sino para una ciudad de ser ejemplo de una buena humanidad. Estamos cansados de que nos pisoteen. Estamos cansados de que el inmigrante siempre sea el que tiene que pagar las cuentas para que los ricos se sigan enriqueciendo. Y queremos decirle que vamos a luchar, porque juntos se puede, juntos podemos ganar, juntos podemos luchar, porque cuando la tiranía es ley, la revolución es orden. I'm going to translate that in English because it's beautiful. I heard from a song of a singer from Puerto Rico. He's called Residente. He said that when tyranny is law, revolution is order. And I believe in that.
Thank you. That was Vanessa. And now we're going to welcome Candice, who lives on Washington Street, right in Union Square.
Hello, my name is Candice. I'm in my 40s and I've lived in the greater Boston area for most of my childhood. Sorry. Yes, hello, my name is Candice. I'm in my 40s and I've lived in the greater Boston area for most of my childhood and all of my adult life. I'm happy to be standing here to celebrate the extension of the Green Line into Union Square. Public transportation is one of the backbones of this area and one of my favorite features. I've never had a car and have always been able to get in and out of the city I love easily. Unfortunately, the extension has come with a more recent and unpleasant side effect, a broadened access to my beloved city. My building and several near it have been bought out by property managers, and my new landlord has increased my rent by over $1,200. Forcing me and my 3 roommates to move out. This is part of a growing trend, not just in Somerville and the greater Boston area, but across the country. I'm not here today to fight a nationwide battle, but I will. And I'm not here today to fight my battle, but I will. I'm here because I love this area, and I want to know what is supposed to happen to people like me, and people like me as we move into the future. I'm a regular working class person, and I have no way of competing with the property managers who came in and buy up large swaths of neighborhoods and raise the rents to exorbitant rates and drive long-term residents out of their homes. Where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do? The working class builds, maintains, and serves these communities, and we deserve to be able to live there too. We shouldn't be forced out of the neighborhoods we've spent our entire lives building because some company somewhere wants another revenue stream. We need to protect and advance affordable housing in our city, and we need to make sure that rents and property prices remain within reach of current residents. Rental increases are outpacing wage increases by leaps and bounds, and at this rate, rampant greed and real estate speculation is going to continue to eat away at our communities like a cancer until we take action to stop it.
Voy a traducir lo que recién dijo Candice en español. Hola, mi nombre es Candice, estoy en mis 40 y he vivido en el gran área de Boston desde mi niñez y durante toda mi vida adulta, y estoy feliz de estar aquí celebrando la extensión de la línea verde. El transporte público es uno de los pilares de esta área y una de las adiciones del barrio que más me gustan. Nunca he tenido que tener un carro y siempre he podido salir y entrar fácilmente al corazón de la ciudad que tanto quiero. Lamentablemente, el acceso más fácil a mi querida ciudad está trayendo efectos secundarios muy desagradables. Mi edificio, así como muchos alrededor, ha sido comprado por un administrador de bienes raíces y mi nuevo landlord aumentó mi renta por más de $1,200, forzándonos a mí y a mis compañeros de apartamento a irnos. Esto es reflejo de una tendencia que va al alza, no solo en Somerville y en el Gran Boston, sino a lo largo de todo el país. Hoy no vengo a luchar por una batalla a nivel nacional, ni tampoco estoy aquí para pelear por mi propia causa, aunque en realidad sí. Estoy aquí porque adoro este lugar y quiero saber qué es lo que se supone que va a pasar conmigo y gente como yo en el futuro. Soy una persona de clase trabajadora, común y corriente, y no tengo cómo competir con estos administradores que vienen y compran pedazos de cada barrio y aumentan el precio de la renta a niveles exorbitantes, sacando de sus hogares a los residentes. ¿A dónde se supone que tenemos que ir? ¿Qué se supone que tenemos que hacer? La clase trabajadora construye, mantiene y sirve a esta comunidad, y merecemos poder vivir aquí también. No nos deberíamos ver forzados a salir de los barrios donde hemos estado todas nuestras vidas solo porque una compañía de por ahí quiere una nueva fuente de ingreso. Necesitamos proteger y avanzar en viviendas asequibles en nuestra ciudad. Necesitamos asegurarnos de que la renta y el precio de las propiedades se mantenga en un rango que sea alcanzable para los actuales residentes. Los aumentos en el precio de la renta están sobrepasando rápidamente el nivel de aumento de los salarios, y a este ritmo la codicia desenfrenada y especulación inmobiliaria seguirán devorando a nuestras comunidades como un cáncer, a menos que tomemos acciones para frenarlo. Gracias.
Thank you, Magda and Candice. And next we have Sandra, who is a resident of Mansfield Street in Union Square, and also a member organizer of the Union United Coalition.
Hi, good morning, and thank you all for being here. I'm here to tell you that development without displacement was the demand raised over 8 years by Union United, a coalition of neighborhood residents, non-for-profit organizations, small business, and labor unions. Our grassroots organizing around the Green Line Extension led to the real gain of affordable family housing, funding for job training, and local hiring. Yet these hard-earned wins are not enough to protect immigrants and other low-income residents from being displaced from Somerville that we love. While the City Council threw its full weight behind the GLX, it did little to the inevitable gentrification and displacement pressure that would accompany it. It's the inclusionary zoning and linkage fee. Efforts were overshadowed by soaring rent, taxes on property near future T-stops only after intense protests and the 2017 election of our revolution on the city council did things. The city increased the formula for these programs and stopped blocking the grassroots effort. Negotiate community benefit agreement, also known as the CBA, with real estate developers. It took over years of organizing and a year of negotiating to get Union Square developer US2 to sign a CBA in 2019. The two other CBAs have followed for Boynton Yards. These three CBAs are private agreements that have provision that aim to position the vulnerable residents and small businesses to weather the storm of new development. Provision include affordable family housing, built sooner, job readiness, and job training, and preference for local hiring and good paying jobs. Developers have to deliver these benefits on time, currently are not doing so. The city and state have to be partners in making sure developers fulfill their commitment, and they need to adopt additional policies and plans that guarantee more affordable housing and access to real living wage jobs. We need local rent, subsidies, expand affordable housing development incentive, and we need state legislators to pass the transfer fee, tenants' right to first refusal, rental stabilization, and more eviction protection, and more resources for housing subsidies and job training. Otherwise, working class Somerville neighborhood and residents such as myself will continue to be disrupted and displaced. It is my hope and prayer that Somerville City Council, developers, community organization can work together to build a Somerville that is united, not divided. Thank you.
Voy a traducir lo que dijo Sandra recién. Desarrollo sin desplazamiento fue la demanda levantada hace casi 8 años atrás por Union United, una coalición de residentes del barrio, organizaciones sin fines de lucro, pequeños empresarios y sindicatos de trabajadores. Nuestros esfuerzos por organizar desde las bases respecto a la extensión de la línea verde trajo ganancias reales en temas de vivienda asequible, fondos para entrenamientos laborales, contrataciones locales. Sin embargo, estas ganancias no han sido suficientes para proteger a los residentes inmigrantes y de bajos ingresos, quienes están viviendo en la obligación de dejar el Somerville que tanto quieren. La ciudad entregó todo su apoyo y recursos a este gran proyecto, pero fue poco lo que hicieron para responder a la inevitable presión de la gentrificación y el desplazamiento que vendría con él. Los esfuerzos puestos en el plan regulador inclusivo y el linkage fee fueron opacados por las crecientes alzas en los precios de la renta y los impuestos a las propiedades cercanas a las nuevas estaciones del MBTA. No fue hasta el 2017, con las elecciones de concejales con una mayoría de miembros de Our Revolution, que los cambios comenzaron a ocurrir. La ciudad mejoró las fórmulas para el funcionamiento de estos programas y dejó de bloquear los esfuerzos hechos por organizaciones de base para poder negociar un acuerdo de beneficios para la comunidad, Community Benefits Agreement, CBA, de aquí en adelante, con los desarrolladores de bienes raíces. Se requirió de 2 años de organización para lograr negociar con el desarrollador de Union Square, US2, para que se lograra acordar la firma de un CBA en 2019. Luego le siguieron otros 2 CBAs para Boynton Yards. Estos 3 CBA fueron acuerdos que ayudarían a los residentes vulnerables y a los pequeños empresarios a combatir la tormenta de los nuevos desarrollos. Estos acuerdos incluyen rapidez en la construcción de viviendas asequibles, prontitud de disponibilidad de trabajos y de capacitación para ellos, la preferencia por contratar a personas que vivieran en el área y trabajos bien pagados. Los desarrolladores tienen que entregar estos beneficios a tiempo. Hasta el momento hay algunos que no lo están haciendo. La ciudad y el Estado tienen que trabajar juntos para garantizar que los desarrolladores cumplan lo que prometieron y deben adoptar políticas y planes adicionales para garantizar más viviendas asequibles y acceso a la renta, más iniciativas para la expansión del desarrollo de viviendas asequibles. Y necesitamos que los legisladores del Estado voten a favor de la ley del transfer fee, la ley del tenant's right to first refusal, estabilización de la vivienda, más protecciones para los desalojos y más recursos para subsidios de vivienda y capacitación laboral. De otra forma, los vecinos de clase trabajadora de Somerville continuarán siendo desplazados. Gracias.
Okay, so we want to thank our speakers, Vanessa, Candice, and Sandra. Thank you all so much for bravely joining us today to share your stories and what you're going through and why this has been detrimental to our community. You know, since the Red Line came to Davis Square in 1987, we've known for decades about the unintended consequences that new transit can bring to a city. Building sales, condo conversions, skyrocketing rents and property taxes, and the loss of working class and immigrant residents and small businesses, the transformation of entire neighborhoods. And now with the Green Line Extension opening, we cannot let history repeat itself. It's clear to us that an intentional plan was needed to prevent displacement, but now we're facing the consequences of not having one. It's an absolute injustice that the residents for whom the Green Line Extension was built won't even be among its riders if this pace of gentrification continues. We cannot lose our neighbors like Vanessa, Candice, Sandra, and the countless others who are voluntarily evicting themselves and leaving Somerville simply because they've been priced out and the city's leadership doesn't seem to care. We refuse to allow this institutionalized abandonment to be the norm in Somerville. We refuse to accept the mass displacement of our neighbors as inevitable. We are here to stand with our neighbors and to let them know that we will organize and fight together until we have the protections and solutions necessary to prevent further displacement. And today, that's why we're calling on our elected officials at every level of government, local, state, and federal, to work together to give our community a plan. An immediate, comprehensive plan to slow and stop displacement in Somerville. As your constituents, we are looking to your leadership for a plan at the very minimum. One, preserves and increases affordable housing. Yes. And when we say affordable, that's not just for those who make at least $80,000 a year. It's for working families who make less than 30. That's what we mean by affordable housing. Two, a plan that places limits on investor purchases so that greed does not become the driving force within our city and that housing is actually treated as a human right. Three, a plan that also increases tenant protections, such as enacting good cause evictions, rent stabilization, and mitigating those unaffordable increases. And four, we also want a plan that's implemented with an equity lens to protect our most vulnerable Somerville residents. And so for everyone here, if you haven't already, we invite you to sign onto a petition to demand a new and affordable lease for our neighbor Vanessa as we continue to fight for her housing stability. You can come to where our volunteers, Colin, and I think someone else has a clipboard, Denise, to sign on your name if you haven't yet. And otherwise, we just want to thank everyone here for taking time to attend our community press conference for Somerville. Especially want to acknowledge all of our elected officials who are here. Congresswoman Ayanna Presley, Mayor Tatiana Valentine, State Senator Pat Jalen, State Rep Mike Connolly, State Rep Erica Eiderhoven, State Rep Christine Barber, as well as our many wonderful Somerville City Councilors, Jake Wilson, JT Scott, Ben Ewan Campen, Charlotte Kelly, Judy Pineda-Neufeld, Kristen Strezzo, Willie Burnley Jr. Am I missing anyone else? Okay, thank you all so again, thank you all. You know, we're here today not only to be in solidarity with Vanessa, Candice, the Oak Street Tenant Union, and other tenants near the Green Line Extension, but for all residents in Somerville and those beyond our city who are faced with the same struggle. We celebrate the arrival of the Green Line Extension and hope that our lawmakers are listening. Transit justice must be housing justice, must be racial justice, and must be environmental justice. And we invite any local resident who wants to join CAAS or our partners, if you want to be part of this movement to end evictions and displacement, just see one of our organizers or volunteers with a clipboard. And our speakers will also be available for remarks with press and media after the event. Please feel free to come find me. And we encourage anyone who's able to also remain for the Mass DOT grand opening ceremony. Thank you so much.
Queremos agradecer a nuestros oradores que compartieron sus historias de vulnerabilidad y nos gustaría reflexionar un poco sobre cómo podemos evitar esto y cómo la historia nos enseñó sobre cómo podríamos haber lidiado con esto. En el año 85 se abrió la línea roja hacia lo que conocemos como Davis Square y sabemos que a pesar de que trajo cosas muy buenas, también trajo cosas muy malas, como que subieron los precios de los edificios, subieron los precios de la renta y de los impuestos. Los inquilinos se fueron, fue una diáspora masiva, entonces tenemos que saber que esto es una forma en que la historia nos está dando una lección. Tenemos que aprender algo del pasado y no tenemos que dejar que la historia se repita. Necesitamos un plan hoy mismo, lo necesitábamos hace mucho tiempo y sin embargo no hay un plan y ahora estamos viviendo las consecuencias de no tener ese plan. Así es que es injusto que los vecinos tengan que estar pasando por esto. Estamos a favor de que los vecinos se queden y no vamos a aceptar este abandono institucional, no vamos a aceptar esta diáspora masiva. Estamos aquí para luchar junto a los vecinos porque merecen vivir en Somerville tanto como cualquier persona. Queremos hacer un llamado a los políticos de todo nivel gubernamental, ya sea local, estatal o federal, para que trabajemos juntos en un plan que proteja a nuestros vecinos y que permita que los vecinos puedan conocer la línea verde y sus beneficios. En este plan queremos que se preserve, en primer lugar, y aumenten las viviendas asequibles. En segundo lugar, queremos que se pongan límites a las compras de los inversionistas. En tercer lugar, queremos que aumenten las protecciones a los inquilinos. Y en cuarto lugar, queremos que se implemente desde un enfoque de equidad para proteger a los residentes de Somerville que son más vulnerables. A todos los presentes los invitamos a firmar la petición por Vanessa para pedir un nuevo contrato. Nuestros voluntarios están por allá, están con un clipboard y van a estar tomando firmas por si ustedes no han firmado todavía. Queremos agradecerles a todos los que asistieron en persona a esta conferencia de prensa y queremos decir que esto no es solamente por los vecinos que hoy hablaron, no es solo por Vanessa, no es solo por Candice, no es solo por Sandra, es por todos los vecinos de Somerville y incluso más allá de eso, es para todas las personas que están dando esta batalla fuera de los límites de la ciudad de Somerville. Y queremos decir de nuevo que la justicia de transporte tiene que venir de la mano con justicia habitacional, racial y medioambiental. Queremos invitarlos a los residentes de Somerville que si quieren colaborar con CAAS también se acerquen a nuestros voluntarios para seguir siendo parte de este movimiento anti-desplazamiento y anti-desalojos y para seguir trabajando por nuestros vecinos. Y también los invitamos a que se queden a la inauguración oficial de la línea verde de MassDOT que va a empezar a las 11:30. Muchas gracias a todos y que les vaya bien.
Thank you, Senator Murphy, for arriving.
Thank you. We need to make sure we do all of this for justice. Elemental justice. Without discrimination.
You got the name tag. So I was like, oh. Yeah, I didn't cross. Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't think about that. Oh my God, I like it.
Thank you. Here's Oh no, go for it. I love it. I do the same thing. And I'm like, hey! I'm like, okay, there's that crazy one. Oh, that's yeah.